Hello, everybody, and welcome to Anime Sickos. It's the podcast for geniuses and the only podcast where we take a look at the four pillars of modern misery, which are, as you know, anime, gaming, posting, and jobs. I am Tom, an anime sicko.
I am Joe, an anime sicko.
We got patrons, show. We got patrons, we got a name, and then we'll get to the episode topic, which you may know from the title. Our first patron is a patron that, I don't know how this happened. I've explained my foolproof method before of just reading the names off the emails I get from Patreon, but we have forgotten to say someone's name. That is a big miss on our part, not intentional. If we ever miss your name, tell us. It's not going to bug us. It bugs me more to know I've gone so long not having said this person's name.
Yeah, it sounds like the existing system wasn't, bulletproof.
Yeah, I'm not going to change the existing system. It's the bulletproof one will be much harder. Anyway, thank you to Misha Panarin, or Panarin. I probably should have asked how to... Panarin. I'm going to go with Panarin. Thank you for your generous donation, Misha.
Thank you.
And apologies for the lengthy delay between your donation and us saying your name. Next patron, Joe, that's going to be Joe Cox. It's another Joe.
His last name is different than mine, so I don't think we're going to run into issues.
You'd be surprised, Joe.
I'm just getting an email that there's been a mix-up at the Social Security office, and my last name... is now Cox.
Yeah, that's too bad. Well, hey, now at least you have a patron with exactly the same name as you. Joe Cox, thank you. And good job on being another Joe. We need more Joes. What am I saying? And then our third patron that we got to thank is Jonathan Franzen. Is this the guy? Is this the author?
No. That's a good joke, but why would...
I mean, it's okay. It's 1,000% not Jonathan Franzen, author of The Corrections, among others, but it's someone whose name is spelled exactly the same. Wouldn't it be wild if it was Jonathan Franzen? What's he up to lately?
The first thing I'm doing is checking to see if there's a second year after his birth year. He's alive, folks.
Okay. His book Crossroads was published October 5th, 2021. Congratulations on your new book. I hope you got a big advance from that. If you're not that Jonathan Franzen, I wonder if you have the same name as a famous author. Do you feel obligated to read them, or do you avoid them out in principle? Is it like Michael Bolton from Office Space?
I was just thinking that.
Anyway, Jonathan, whoever you may be, we thank you just the same for your donation. And yeah, if you want to support the show, you can go to patreon.com/animesickos and get your name read in the show. That's all the new patrons for this week. So, time to get to the actual episode proper. Joe, 2 episodes ago, on episode, I believe, 103, the Sickos listened to homework podcasts for business freaks.
Mm-hmm.
That episode was sort of a hit. We got big numbies on that and big response.
Yeah, that's because we're geniuses. When we speak, wisdom comes out of our mouth. You know that reply image of the philosophers walking through the Roman square, and it's clearly they're having
one of those pointing their finger straight up. Yeah, philosophers love doing that.
That's us if we could leave the house. That would be us.
Yeah, I mean, the way that they're dressed in their big robes, that's jammies. I'm in that life now. I'm 100% jammy all the time. That's my look. Anyway, but you get to the point, Joe, which is a lot of the reason it was a hit is that people with bigger followings than us, who people trust more, were quote tweeting us being the Sickos are such geniuses. They're so wise and insightful. The way that they can articulate these things that you're aware of but you don't know you're aware of is so wonderful. And while that's true, we are wonderful.
We're great. We're so good.
To me, this is a permutation of something that you talked to me about before that I thought was one of the more wise things that I had heard in a while, which is overall, a lot of people sort of valorize comedians and comedy and like the stuff that we do, the goofers, as like some sort of important truth-telling tool. And a lot of people think of comics as like modern day philosophers, which is very annoying when like one of them starts saying like canceled shit, when like one of them starts becoming Dave Chappelle or like Louis C.K. and their defenders are like, you're just afraid of the philosophy, and it's like, you don't. No. This is not a guy worth your time defending. The reason that a lot of people think that like comedy is some like powerful force of like truth.
I don't think they know about guns.
They sure don't. I could make a really cutting joke that exposes the hypocrisy of the elite. And then they'd send a soldier to get me, and I'd tell a joke to the soldier, and he wouldn't listen because he has earbuds in. That is the Jocko podcast.
Yeah, and it's also still a Pinkerton.
Yeah. The reason people think this about comedy and about us and, you know, whatever comedian they like is because they're just dazzled by the fact that comedy is one of the few things that lets you complain.
Yes. Being funny is such a useless skill. It's absolutely not worth it. You should definitely pick animal handling or like, I don't know, math. It's not worth it.
Yeah, the ROI, the amount of income you get from it based off of effort put in is fucked. It's just a nightmare.
It's absolutely, to sort of illustrate this, I was thinking the other day, like, what if there's a last man on earth situation and I'm like wandering around? It's like, well, I'm extra fucked because like if I knew how to draw or something, like I could spend my time practicing my art, you know, like, and going into museums which are abandoned because I am the only human left. And I realized that like when if you want to be funny, that's stupid because the entire purpose of you doing everything is put in another person's reaction.
Yes.
So like, so I would be like walking around just being like fuck, dig, fuck, and like looking for someone to say something, and it wouldn't happen, and I would probably just get addicted to every drug.
Yeah, and like if you're an artist and like you have that skill and like you find a colony, they'd be like, hold up, travel. They'd be talking like Cloud Atlas talk. They'd be like, who's he some this traveloni? And you'd have to explain like, I can draw, like I can paint pictures of how the world used to be so that we can remember our shared stories and build a culture. And they're like, oh, that's pretty useful. You can join in. If it was just like, hey, when me and Joe do patter, it sort of feels like you're hanging out with us. And it's like,
we got like 10 minutes on some of the most egregious animation errors on The Simpsons. Can we hang out with you and eat your food?
If you want to hear someone get nutty about the dungeon design in Phantasy Star 2 for the Sega Genesis, spoilers, it's a little convoluted. I'm your man. And then they'd be like, you are more useful as meat.
Yeah, this is Artist Colony, so we're all vegetarian too, but we're going to make an exception.
Yeah.
All of this is to say, there is one exception where being funny is useful, because otherwise it's pointless for the reasons we just described. And it's the only way that is socially acceptable to complain. Like, by which I mean, like, if you go around complaining, everyone hates you. Everyone hates you. Like, everyone wants to put you in cement shoes and throw you off a boat if you complain too much.
They have a name for that kind of complaining. It's called whining, and there's a real stink built into the word. Very pejorative.
I make sense why people don't like people who whine all the time. I get that. The problem is there's just like there's a lot of stuff to whine about.
Yeah, shit sucks.
There's just like so much stuff to whine about, and the only way. And I noticed this even as a kid early on, which is, when I complain that I just want to do stuff, everyone's like, shut up. But if you do the same thing, but in a way that makes people laugh, everyone's like, okay, I guess like I don't hate the words as much now.
Yeah, yes. If you're at work and someone's like, hey, you have a new assignment, you got to take on this extra work. You can't move off any of your existing works, and this needs to be done by the end of the week. if you're just sort of like, oh man, fuck this. This is stupid. I shouldn't have to do this. You're going to get sent to super hell. You're going to get fired for sure. Everyone's going to be like, this bitch is not a team player. This bitch is the whiniest bitch on earth. But yo, if I come on my podcast and I say, when my work gives me more work, that my work be a mayo ass, everyone's going to laugh, and I'm going to get patrons on Patreon.
Yes. The raw material for this show, even as like a concept before it came together as a show, was complaining. Yes. It was us putting complaints into G-Chat, usually in response to things in our lives that caused us to complain. I want to be clear that we do not do deep thinking sessions where we pull out experiences. It's just like basically, hey, this happened to me today, and I'm a dog that responds to stimulus. I'm going to complain about it now.
Yeah. Joe, here's the real impetus for the show. Joe would say, some shit that sucks, and I'd be like, I would do anything to hear the next part, Joe. And Joe would explain some shit that happened to him, and I'd be like, that's like something that happened to me. And Joe would be like, you know why this really sucks? This reason. I'd be like, that is a reason that it sucks. But have you thought further about this reason? And Joe would be like, well, now that you've mentioned that reason, it brings up this reason. And then we would get to like the sort of core of why it sucked. And then I would look back at our G-Chat and be like, Joe, this is so funny. People need to see this. So like when people are like, you guys, how are you able to articulate these feelings about the modern world?
We're just bitching. Like we're literally just bitching. In fact, I don't even bitch that much in therapy. Like, cause I'm actually worried about complaining that much in therapy because there is a stigma attached to it. Cause you don't want to be like a sad sack. But with like, you, I know, like, I don't have to prove personal growth to you so much. So like, look, Walgreens won't stop calling me. I changed pharmacies forever ago, and I keep telling them, I'm like, please stop calling me. I won't pick up this prescription because you guys don't cover it because it's like $900. And they were like, we'll take you off the list. They call me every day, and they're so pissed that I don't pick it up. Like, it's clearly such an aging issue that it's not an automatic call anymore. It's like a pissed lady every time. And it must be a different person every time because when I explain what happens, they're like, oh, that makes sense.
Yep.
And that was happening to me, and the only way I didn't like shoot blood out of my eyes because I like went into the little chat box and I was like, Tom, please listen to this.
You don't feel self-conscious complaining to me because like, and here I'm about to segue into another point that we're gonna make. Oh my god, I just felt the segue happen, and I was like, oh my god, I'm really good at this. Because a lot of society, most society, when they hear complaining, the reaction is, as we've discussed, shut up, bitch. But also like, what can I do to get you to shut up? Like how, and you have that sort of feeling that like my therapist might say like, oh, that is bad. Now how can we fix that? And it's like, no.
There's nothing to fix. I just want like a bad thing to happen to a corporation. I don't want to improve myself.
Yeah. Because like as I said, like when you complain at work, you get sent to super hell. Like I think what it is that complaining has been assigned by society to the elite only. They are the only people who are allowed to complain. Because let's think about like, what is a strike? A strike is just organized complaining. And I think it's very well known that American society hates that. However, if a company says nobody wants to work, everyone's staying home, get back to work right now, also there's a skills gap, that's just pure bitching. But it gets like, the Economist like names the PR person who said it like person of the year for being very honest.
Right. And that's always how like striking is covered. It's like, well, there's a bunch of people together outside their job. They're not inside it where they do the job. They're outside of it. And they're all complaining together.
Yeah. And like that's not allowed. Get back, like the safest place for children to be is in school. Stop whining. Get in person. Fuck. if you want to know, like, how do I become insightful geniuses like the anime Sickos, like, this is it. Like, you just gotta
complain more,
fucking whining all the time about all the shit that sucks ass, and like, because you know what I'm noticing, like, what is it about the things that people say? What is it about, like, the segments that people, like, quote tweet saying, like, this is so insightful, oh my god, it's like this is something that I always knew in the back of my mind, but now I see it. It's been given a name. Like, the reason that people feel excited and amazed by these truths is that, like, you knew it the whole time, but in order to uncover it, you needed to fucking whine. And when you whine, people yell at you. So,
yeah.
Like,
yeah.
This is the secret to the Sickos, folks. We're giving away all our tricks.
You can also complain as long as you don't assign specific blame to anything. That's also something I've noticed, which is like, if you could just be like, oh, this virus, that's acceptable. Yeah. That is like the quote unquote politically correct blaming, because you can never address the underlying issue. You can't have cause effect. It's just like, this thing happened.
Another thing that really rules about complaining is that, like, it's, and especially with, like, society so atomized as it is, especially so because you can't go outside because of the virus. It's instant solidarity. It's like, just add water and, like, we shall overcome. Because, like, everything that happens on Earth to us is terrible and fucking sucks. So just being able to, like, say, like, this fucking sucks. Everyone's just, like, instantly, everyone's eyes light up, their ears perk up like a dog, because they're like, is someone on my side? What? Huh?
Yes. Can I get a drop of solidarity is what it is. And there's a type of scrolling I have been doing on Twitter, which is definitely related to doom scrolling, but it's a little different because it's a little more positive, which is right now, we're recording this on January 9th. The curve of the virus, it's really vertical.
Yeah, it's a line. It's an up line.
It's not great. It's actually kind of the worst shape it can be, as far as I know.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of posts that happen now, which I actually find, how do I put this? I don't find them good, but I find connection with them, are now people just being like, fuck, man, like, oh, shit. Like, just the posts where it just feels like I'm a person walking down the street, and there's another person walking down the street, and we're both on fire, and we cross paths, and we give each other the thumbs up, and then we keep going. And obviously, like doom scrolling, it involves you being on the phone more, so it's the problem.
Yeah. But, I mean, I get what you're saying. Like, I got to do a similar thing, which is whenever there is a news item about some just, like, extremely terrible, evil thing that happened, like the CDC director saying it makes me so fucking horny that the people dying are all disabled. That's such great. I couldn't imagine better news than to hear that those little freaks are all dying.
She said "are," like she, like, specifically othered, right, in that? Didn't she say, like, us? Wonderful.
Or when, like, Lori Lightfoot says the safest place for children to be is in school. I will, like, put on my bib and look at the replies, because I want so badly to see people being like, I hate you, you evil sack of shit. You're worse than the devil. The devil is your master. Like, seeing that makes me feel very like, yes, she is that bad. Like, yeah. They do hate us. Lori is the stupidest human being who has ever born. Oh, God.
I do the same thing with replies, but I think my first filter mentally is like, who went too far? Who's getting banned for this? who was a little too hot coming out of the gate?
Yeah, who's complaining too much? The man says that's the wrong kind of complaining. And just another thing that sucks is that, like, all this complaining has to be, like, indie. It has to be, like, lo-fi complaining, because, as we say, like, you're not allowed to complain, like, officially. Like, when it gets to be a scenario or a setting where, like, this is like serious business, someone's at work here, then complaining gets turned off, and you're not fucking allowed to do
Right.
that. Like,
work is a quick time event, and you can't complain during them.
Exactly. And Joe, you have an example here that I think is very smart, which is the metaverse. The stupid Facebook Second Life, where they want you to put a terrible VR helmet on your head and go to Walmart. It's awful. Like, objectively, it's the worst thing I've ever seen, and it's so deeply insulting.
It looks like the 360 avatars at launch.
Yeah.
It looks like those. It's so obviously shitty, like, to everyone who has a brain or who has played a video game, I guess, ever. And we are subjected to this. This is obviously an extension of the NFT thing, where it's like we have this huge Web3 push, which is clearly just a bunch of sweaty scams being pushed on us again and again.
Yeah, and it's just so insulting to know that, like, people who are more powerful than me are going to, like, do all they can to force me to participate in this scam against my will.
The issue here is that everyone, or at least the majority of people, I would say, can see at face value this is garbage.
Yeah, they see it and say this shit sucks. Correctly.
Correctly, yes. They correctly point out that, like, buying fake wine in a virtual Walmart is not, like, a fun experience. The issue is the people who cover all of this stuff are the only people who don't complain. Like, they are bred in tubes to cover all of this tech stuff without complaint. Like, they see the Walmart Second Life VR experience, and they are like, well, this is going to triple the GDP. Like, holy shit.
Yeah. I mean, and it also is just like, even if the writer personally knows that it sucks, like, journalism is work. The lamestream media is a big office, Joe. So what can you not do at the office? What have we been saying you can't do at the office? Complain. You can't complain at work. And that's part of it. It's like, you can't get your editor assigning you, like, hey, please cover the launch of Facebook's new product. You cannot turn in an article that says...
You can't be like, it's a goof, right?
Yeah. You can't have your article be like, Facebook has announced some shit that sucks ass. I hope that Mark Zuckerberg falls in a volcano in his big Hawaiian estate. And no one should buy a fucking VR helmet for this shit. This blows ass. Web3 sucks. Like, you can't, if you handed that in, your editor would be like, get in the cannon. We're gonna send you to the fucking sun.
Absolutely not. It's your boss does all the calculations to send you to the sun. At the last second, the cannon just points right at the ground.
You get turned into a big smoothie. Yeah. So that's this horrible cognitive dissonance that's in all of our lives. Is if you don't seek out whiners, if you don't seek out people who are complaining, you are constantly being bombarded with the worst shit anyone could possibly imagine, and every sort of official and, like, serious and prestigious outlet, any sort of real reliable messaging from a trusted brand is going to be like, the shit does not suck, it's fine. And so, like, you're just, this is what's driving people insane. This is what's making people be like, I'm the Joker, the system's breaking down, man. I'm gonna start listening to Alex Jones now.
Like, it's so obvious that Joe Biden has to bail it, and he needs a road of corpses to get to the castle so he can bring in the new era or whatever.
Yeah.
And, like, there's just so much ambient death around us all the time now. And it seems almost too obvious to complain about the thing that's killing everyone, that's making everything awful. But you can't respond to all these points about how there's job openings with the reality, which is just that, like, everyone's dead.
Yeah. A lot of the job openings are fake job openings with impossible requirements, so that these businesses would get their grants because they have to fulfill the requirement of, like, do you have openings? And yeah, I do. Or here's your grant.
You can't see, like, this disconnect. This message also that, like, the White House has put out, that they're the only industrialized country that has a better economy after COVID than before the pandemic started. Like, just stuff like that. It's like, you can't if you see that, you know the issue is that you need to complain. Like,
yeah.
the complaining is not happening.
You're not allowed to do it. And this is another thing. Especially complaining about the Democrats, which is one of the things you have to complain about the most, because man, they're incompetent to evil to a man. You can't complain about them because they have snookered a huge block of what could have been your comrades into the complaining police. If you are like, I hate Joe Biden, that old bitch sucks shit, and I hope he dies. So they'll be like, excuse me, would you rather have Trump? There's a lot of things he'd like to do, but the little gremlin who lives under Congress says it's against the rules. How dare you? And it's like, don't have respect for your betters. Don't complain. Complaining is for the kings to do.
Can't you just fire this gremlin that lives under? Does it have like? No. This were the parliamentarian explanation of like, oh, we can't have these things that were ran on because this person I don't know who wasn't elected says it's like it's not a good look.
Yeah. I think the whole thing is that like complaining has been reclaimed entirely by the boss class. They're the only people who get to complain without judgment. And politicians, obviously, we've been talking about them. They're a type of boss. They're a boss that doesn't even pay you. You actually have to pay them. The evilest boss of all. But like bosses complain all the time. That's like the only thing they do. Anytime like there is a new sort of policy at work, or they have to like anytime a piece of paper is posted in a room with like red words, that's just complaining. What is firing someone but the ultimate complaint?
Yes, it is really the mega complaint. I think of the unhinged Lori Lightfoot emails. There was this Lori Lightfoot email that was FOIA'd, which is kind of the most powerful version of boss complaining I've seen in a while. Lori Lightfoot, she sent out this email, which is as follows. Since my prior requests for office time are routinely ignored, I am now resorting to this. I need office time every day. 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 This is repeated like 6 more times. New paragraph. Not just once a week or some days every day. Not just once a week or some days every day. Not just once a week, some days or every day. Not just once a week, some days every day. Again, repeated twice the amount I've said it.
Joe, give me the capitalization scenario here. What are we looking at?
It's sentence case, actually, which is kind of... I mean, okay, like you have one sentence case and then clearly a control V situation because there are way too many spaces. There's like a triple space between the exclamation mark and I need.
God, what a dumb old idiot.
Breaks or transitions between meetings are not office time. Breaks or transition times between meetings are not office time. Repeated infinitely. If this doesn't change immediately, I will just start unilaterally canceling things every day. Well, she repeats that like 6 times. Honestly, that probably would have been fine.
Yeah, I would like her to do less shit, honestly.
And then the final paragraph is, have I made myself clear, comma, finally, question mark, exclamation mark. Have I made myself clear, finally? That repeats, 10 more times.
I need my nap. If I went to work and was like, I need my nap, I need my nap, I need my nap, no one would fucking... No one would pay attention to me.
The first time you said nap, the sniper dot would be on your forehead.
You know why quitting a bad job is so good? Because it's I said how being firing someone is the ultimate complaint. Well, so is quitting. Quitting is the ultimate complaint. And in a work scenario, it's the first complaint you can make. And it's also a complaint they can't respond to because you've already died. Like, it's a suicide bombing complaint.
Yes. All they can do is sort of like try to control the truth after.
Yeah. And that actually, holy moly, that's a great segue because a big part of why complaining is so impossible, if you're not able to make it funny, is a concept that you defined long, long ago, which is executive perception, which is to say bosses sometimes can just perceive stimulus wrongly and everyone else has to pretend that they didn't.
Yes, or something that's such not a priority is suddenly a priority because there's just the high salaried eyes on it who are themselves not prioritizing correctly. But it doesn't matter because now it's reality. Now this is a urgent need.
Like fucking the metaverse is just that, honest. Like all this Web3 shit where all the brands are picking up on it. Like certainly the people in the weeds who are like doing the work at those companies know that like the metaverse and NFTs are not anything. They do not fulfill, like no one's gonna they're not gonna catch on because they're useless. But
I hope people on the metaverse team are like aware they're working at the turd factory. I'm sure they think they're doing a good job making Morrowind where you get fired.
Yeah. But like get fired. But you can't complain because the executive perception is such that like this is actually good. And if you say, sir, it's not good, that is a level of complaint that will get you put in the canon. Like if you say to Joe Biden, sir, I don't like it how everyone's dying of COVID, and I don't like it how you're forcing everybody to go to work and valorizing going to work in person in a time when it's literally the worst it's ever been with the most transmissible variant ever.
That tone Tom used is how anything is heard by a boss. Like, it doesn't matter who is speaking. It has that same annoying sing-songy element.
Yeah, like, hey, if you were like, hey, I need PTO because my mom is sick and I gotta go take care of her. They hear, I'm lazy. Can I stay home? And they are like, no, idiot. And their perception is correct. It may be incorrect, but it is correct. So, like, if I say to Joe Biden, like, I don't like how we're all dying. I don't like how everyone's...
it's a fucking bummer.
Yeah. Please implement a lockdown and give us a stimulus. They are going to be like, actually, the economy is booming and Americans want to work. And that's that. Like, no, like, he's my boss. So what am I supposed to say? Executive perception wins out. The fact that I see things differently and everyone else sees them the same way as me is immaterial if one guy with a special job sees it a different way.
I've never wanted to work less. He's lying.
Yeah, I hate working. I hate working. I was born hate working, and every day that goes by, I hate working a little bit more. I like playing around, folks.
Yeah, when I do my depression walk in the morning before I use my COG computer, there's this truck that's in the neighborhood and has a big bumper sticker where it says, Americans be proud, and it's just like funnier every time.
What's there to be proud of? I'm complaining. Like, everyone should be complaining. Actually, you know what?
That sticker says stop complaining. That's what that sticker is. That truck is saying stop complaining.
It's doing a boss's work for them. It's real sick shit. It's Agent from the Matrix shit. It's like, I would love to get turned into an agent. Please make my face get goopy and turn into Hugo Weaving. I would love that. Fuck. It's like, you know what actually is heartening? And this is, part and parcel of like, why is Enemy Sickos successful? Because we fucking bitch and moan. The anti-work movement seems to be really picking up. I haven't gone to the Reddit, the anti-work Reddit, but like people have heard about it. People are talking about it. It's growing fast. And like the gist of it is like working sucks ass. It's not like the way work is set up now sucks ass. It's like, no, work sucks ass, period. It's the complaining that we all know, but have all been afraid to do for too long. The whole anti-work movement is just everyone got together in a little room and we're like, hey, like, do you guys mind if I fucking complain? And it's like, no, actually, I want to complain too. And their brains explode, and it forms a movement because complaining is the most powerful force. It's almost as powerful as horny.
It is. And the same way, like, it's illegal for your boss to stop you from like talking about pay with other people, like that. That's actually to stop complaining, because like, the transaction that is being prevented there is that you compare numbers. And then you're like, we got some good shit to complain about.
Yes, there's no like pay conversation that ends with everyone being like, this rules. Hell yeah. No, it always ends with someone being like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah. Someone is unfortunately smarter afterwards.
Yeah, and then they get to complain, and they really don't like it when this happens.
Yeah.
Folks, I think what we're trying to say is twofold. One, you need to complain more because there's a lot to complain about. And two, the anime sickos complain better than anyone. And that's why we're geniuses.
We're at the S rank in complaining. There is also another anti-complaining tactic you need to be on the lookout for, which is when someone says, yeah, everyone is going through this, or like, yeah, everyone's doing this, and it's like, yeah, and that's why it sucks.
Yeah.
It's often given to you as a reason to not complain, as if like this experience of yours is not unique, where it's like, actually the fact it's not unique is the problem.
Yeah, that makes me complain louder. The fucking, oh my god, there was some doctor on one of these liberal, lame stream media news shows who was
You're
saying,
little Alex Jones now. You're Alex Jones.
He was saying, or she was saying, Joe, that like, listen, would I like it if schools all had N95 masks and a lot of tests and proper ventilation? Yes, I would love that. That would be so nice. But that's not where we're at right now. We have the vaccine, we have masks, and those are a good defense. So get back to in-person school, you little fucking prole. That sort of like just saying the complaints. Like, I'm a boss, I'm your boss, and I've already heard the complaints, so you can't say them because you know I know them, and because I have deigned to fucking focus my perception, my executive perception, on the little complaints for a second that has rendered them inert, and now shut up, bitch. It's like, no. The fact that you know my complaints in advance makes it way worse.
Yeah,
like,
this is not news to you. Like, you and let's like revisit the statement. Obviously, there was a bunch of pandemic-related words, like we don't have N95s, would it be great, whatever. But that rhetorical structure of what was just said can be used for anything. It doesn't need to be this fucking pandemic, because what it was would it be great if we had thing you want? And it's just simply that we're not there. And you just shut up and keep going is like the use of that framing. Yeah, and it can be used for anything, and unfortunately, it's being used for something that is causing mass illness on a grand scale.
Yeah, that's so wild. The breaking it down to that format, would it be good if we had thing you want? Yes, is like. I mean, wait. So you're admitting that I'm right to complain? Like I would think that a boss, if I was a boss and I was like, time to do evil, and someone complained to me, my go-to would be like, it would actually be bad if we did that. And my executive perception would end the conversation there, and I would win, and then I would make a profit. So I actually feel like this is a great strategy. So this doctor is a real moron for getting out of the gate and admitting that the complaints are valid.
I don't see it meaningfully different than the rhetorical trick of like, I see you, I hear you, and then like continuing to ignore you. It's just like this empty gesture of middle ground, which is not sincere, but it makes it sound like the person is listening if you've like, I don't know, never left your house.
Yeah, like I totally agree with you. It is the same as I see you, I hear you, and it is worse.
I see you, I hear you is fun because it was like, I am saying the phrase that gets me off the hook.
Yes.
It was awesome.
I would, and also just like, it's less painful to consider that the boss class in charge of me are blundering idiot gods who do not perceive at all what's happening and are just making decisions based on pure randomness. They're just listening to the chaos demon in their head. They're just whooshing their arms around in the antique shop, doing what they will. That is less sort of psychically painful than having the boss class be like, oh, we know what you want, but...
They know what you want, but they still do the performance of knocking stuff down in the antique shop, though. That's the fucking problem.
Yeah, they say like, hello, can you please stop knocking things down in my shop? And they'd be like, would it be nice if I was not knocking things down in your shop? Yes, but that's not where we are. Crash, 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 crash. It's like, huh? If you were just like, I'm having an episode, I can't stop myself. It'd be like, okay, well, it sucks that my shit's broken, but like, well, what was I to do? But like, when you're saying like, I hear you, I understand what you're saying, and I have decided to go through an entire decision making process with what you've said in mind in my fucking equation, and I still come to the opposite conclusion. Haha, fuck you, I hate you, stop complaining, bitch.
I worked it out in my notebook. That's what that is. It sucks.
I'm gonna wave my arms around and look, I'm showing my work. You see, here's a big blood stain that represents Euler's number. Fuck, dude, this sucks. I mean, that's it. That's what's good about Sickos. It's fuck, dude, this sucks.
It sucks. It's not unique to. It is really uncharted territory what we're in right now, and like that's been the case for all pandemic. But man, these past few days, things are gonna get bad. And like anyone who's like, oh yeah, everyone's going through this. Please put on a positive face. Just sort of grind it out. It's like, well, those things were happening regardless of like whether a boss suggested it. So that's kind of the problem.
Also, to those people, like, give complaining a try. Just really whine, lean into it, don't feel self-conscious about it. Just complain, bitch and moan. Like, I bet you'll feel better because like
the business mindset atrophies and kills the part of your brain that gets sexual satisfaction from complaining. It absolutely just destroys that part of your gray matter. And all the more reason why those people have the demon mindset.
Yeah, because in order for all their business scams to work, everyone has to cheerfully buy into all the scams. Because if there's people who are like, no, I hate this. This is stupid as shit. It all falls apart. The pyramid needs to have the base. You can't have one of the big stones in the base of the pyramid be like, oh, this is dumb as fuck. So, like, if you want to be an entrepreneur, part of that is everything an idiot says. Anytime a boss has incorrect executive perception, you have to be like, yes, it's so good that you've perceived things wrongly. I love it. You can't complain. You got to complain. It makes you human. I don't feel like, how could someone live in the world and not be fucking bitching and moaning all the time? Like, it just doesn't make sense. You got to do it. It makes you who you are. Complain. Everything sucks. Everything that's happening to you is so bad, and it's wrong that it's happening to you.
Yeah, I don't think I'm like fully awake unless I've complained, actually. I think that's like the final step. It's just like I have to bitch about something a little bit.
Yo, Joe, you know what really, when you were in like the depths of a depressive episode, the thing that makes doing this show so difficult is that like when we go to the lab, which is I'm like, some shit happened to me, ooh, I hate it. You're just like, yeah, everything's bad. And it's like, no, Joe, you need to complain about specific things. And he's just like, I don't know, it's just and like you lose your complaining edge because you're being overwhelmed by too many shitty things.
Yeah, I'm my mana is too dispersed.
Yes, yeah. You're using, to complain in that state is all your skills have been replaced with a single AoE spell that is attacking like 1,000 enemies, so each one takes 1 damage because it's a spell that does 1,000 damage usually, which is a great spell and makes for fun podcast episodes, but it's too spread.
Yeah, and honestly, that tracks because every time I've like come out of a depressive episode, like before I start feeling like better, there's like a day where I'm pissed. And
yes.
And when I get pissed, I think that's just like my complaining coming online again, but like because it hasn't been happening, it's just sort of like an overflow situation.
Yeah. Yes. And Joe, another thing that Sickos that's great because if we complain is people have noted this, and we've noticed this as well, and it's all true, that like when you decide to listen to someone who's going to talk about video games or anime, you're really playing Russian roulette because like you never know if you're going to get a cultist, if you're going to get someone who's like, now fair warning, there is a lot of fan service in this show, but don't worry, it's hot. It's like, oh no, I'm turning this off.
There's a lot of fan service in this one. Just so you know, this game's gonna make you jack off.
Yeah, you're gonna come to this. I sure have. It's yeah. You never know when you're gonna get like a true believer who's gonna like apologize for everything, who's gonna make long YouTube videos explaining how there actually isn't a plot hole in JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, how everything is planned ahead.
Can I boil this down even more? Like if you watch someone on YouTube like talk about something like video games or anime or whatever, like you were actually just signing up to get a specific type of complaints. Like that's what's actually happening.
Yeah. And you got to make sure that the people are complaining about the things that you're actually worth complaining about, which is like that anime and games suck ass and are like really stupid.
Not the famous they censored this game by removing her vagina bones.
Yeah, exactly. Another thing that the complaining cops will try to bust you over if you complain all the time is like you're being too negative. You're so negative. You're a downer. And it is possible there are people out there. I won't name names, but there are posters on the internet who really do just sort of do really like depressing. Like I'm just a fucked up guy complaining, and they do it constantly, and it's kind of hard to read. However, I think like complaining about shit that actually sucks is, I think, one of the more positive and like human first things you can do.
Yeah. For one, it gets by a lot of your soul.
Yeah. And for two, if someone's out there who's experiencing the bullshit and they don't know yet how that they're allowed to complain, and they see someone being like, hey, this shit sucks, they're like, it does suck. I'm not the only one who thinks that. I was sure I was the only one, and I was too scared to ask because asking is complaining.
Oh, I remember at my previous job, I was starting a project with a woman I'd not worked with yet, and it was like the first time for us to like meet and sort of touch base, and it was like a morning meeting, and we were remote. And I was just like, oh, is this like a rules person? Like, oh my God, like, what is this? And then like one of the first things she said to me was like, I'm not putting on the camera because I was up all night watching Fresh Prince. And I was like, oh, I'm safe. Hell yes. Oh my God. Oh my God, yes.
Yes. There's a coworker of mine at work who works on a very high value client and has for many years. This person is the client's like main contact and main sort of person who works on their shit. And they were like telling me about the history that they had with this client, and were like really like bragging really proudly about how they would work after work hours, like really, really consistently. And how whenever this client had a request, no matter what time of day it was, even if it was on a weekend, they would log on right away and get it done. And the reason for the bragging was like, and that's why this client loves me, and that's why they stay with us. And this whole time I'm like, ooh, you really fucked up. The right response to all that was to really despise this client and talk shit about them constantly. You should have been telling me about how much you hate the person you email from them. You got it twisted somewhere. I'm really sorry about that. And that's when I knew like, this is not a person I can ever complain to, because they will become the complaining cops and tell the king.
You were supposed to complain, and you ended up being like, I'm a worm.
Yeah. I'm a worm. I like getting stepped on. And I'm like, I was just about to say how much I hate getting stepped on. We're gonna have trouble. Oh, fuck.
So in conclusion, complaining kicks ass.
Fruit. By definition, the sweet and fleshy product of a tree or other plant that contains seeds and can be eaten as food. 48 combatants have been selected. 2 sickos will judge them. 1 will be crowned greatest fruit under the heavens. This is the Fruit Annihilation Tournament!
Folks, the fruit tournament.
The what?
A long time ago, we made a big bracket of a bunch of fruits to discover the best fruit. Last time we brought this up was October of 2021.
I think that was before the virus.
Yeah, that was when I was like very comfortable with going to friends' houses and staying for hours unmasked with them. I had stopped doing the pickup orders at the grocery store. I'm doing those again now.
Yeah, I had to scale back my habit of just getting on the L and licking things.
Yeah, you love that. That's so
I do.
cool.
The blue line is a robust flavor palette.
But we're back at the fruit tournament. We're remembering to do it. We are checking the box that says we have made progress with the fruit tournament so that it is not a lie when we tell ourselves one day we'll finish it. And folks, we're on round 3. We're working through what I believe would be the Sweet 16. We have done round 3 for the Classic Killers and Big Fruits regions, and this time on the fruit tournament, we are going to do round 3 bouts for the Du Bois and Rebels region. Joe, which of Du Bois or Rebels are you feeling first?
Oh, let's do Du Bois.
Hell yeah. Du Bois, the region with no clear theme, other than that they are all Du Bois. Our first bout in this region in this round is one that just even saying the combatants really is... It makes me have bad memories because first combatant is the 12 seed of Cranberry, which has somehow won 2 bouts in a row. Don't know how that happened. And they're going to be fighting the 4 seed Blood Orange, the goth fruit. I believe if any fruit can be considered goth, it would be Blood Orange. Joe, what is your initial temperature on this matchup?
Blood Orange was like a Jamaican treat. Was that what it was?
No, Blood Orange is a Blood Orange. You're thinking of Oogly.
Oh, yeah. Well, what? I like Blood Orange even less now.
What? What are you talking about?
I was thinking Oogly fruit. I was having positive associations with it.
A Blood Orange is an orange where the inside is blood red, and it looks cool.
That was different enough. I guess we have green apple and regular apple. All right.
Well, green apple got defeated by cranberry. Is the same fate going to befall Blood Orange?
Okay. So Blood Orange is a palette swap.
Yeah.
Like, that's what we're talking about.
It's the goth skin that you had to buy with your V-Bucks. It does have a slightly different flavor. It's not massively different. But it's very fun to cut one up and then look at your cutting board after.
So cranberry, what was going for it other than, like, Thanksgiving associations?
I think it was just a perverse Thanatos death drive to push forward this horrible fruit and have it beat much better fruits.
Mm-hmm.
Andrew Sherman really was into LeBron James and Cranberry Sprite. That was a big push behind his Cranberry boosterism. Not sure why that convinced him at all, but there it was.
Does Blood Orange have any celebrity tie-ins?
Not that I know of.
You know what was a really good Venture Brothers joke? Was when, as a ghost, 23 knew all of the celebrity perfumes of, like, any year.
Yeah.
That was so fucking stupid.
No, that was 21.
Oh, sorry.
21
yeah.
who was alive. 24
Great.
was
Yep.
coming back from heaven with ghost celebrities who couldn't believe that this guy knew all the celebrity fragrance names.
Oh, that was such a stupid joke. I love it. It's wonderful. But Blood Orange doesn't have that level of, like, there isn't a Halle Berry tie-in.
No. Cranberry, I guess. Oh, God. Joe, it's just like, cranberries are such, like, when do you see them in Thanksgiving for the famous goop. You have craisins, which are really just like sugar with cranberries attached. And you have your cranberry Sprite. That's very, I don't know. It feels like that's such a limited palette. His moveset is so small. If this was a beat 'em up, it would be like you don't all you have is your attack button, and like it does like a 3-hit combo if your first hit hits, and like that's all you have in terms of moveset. You don't even have a grapple. That's how I feel when I see Cranberry.
Blood Orange is a well-rounded fighter because it has the same moveset as I imagine Orange does, but it has like some variations. Like its up B makes the Smash Brothers critical noise and does fire damage if you fucking get it right on the first frame.
Yeah, the up B for an Orange is it just sort of like, it looks like it's being squeezed by like an invisible hand and like a jet of orange juice shoots at the bottom and propels it up. Blood Orange, it's the exact same move in terms of like how much distance it goes and like startup frames and end lag and all that. But like demon wings made out of blood appear behind it and flap up.
Yeah, it's way cooler.
It's the goth orange. I think that's I don't really think I need to have another argument other than that.
This podcast has been pretty pro goth in many ways, and I think we should continue that trend because cranberry feels like a joke we let get out of hand, go too far. Like it just. We need to do the old Yeller thing, like it's our dog. We'll take care of it.
Yeah. I agree. And also, this reminds me, this is something not a lot of people have heard for reasons that will become clear because it's a Patreon exclusive for Shuffle Quest, our RPG show, which is coming back at some point. We did a one-on-one, a just us 2-player RPG of Honey Heist, where we're bears trying to steal honey from the honey convention while being disguised as humans. And we rolled such that the special honey we were trying to steal was like the Black Midnight honey that turns you goth. And that was one of my like great improv moments, was that we both intuited without having to explain it, the joke that like these bears consider becoming goth like the most just self-evidently good thing that can happen. And when they became goth, we both just, without discussing it, like we both said that our bears had powers. They have superpowers now.
Yeah, we had a transformation sequence. I think mine was it was like a panda, but the black and white sections started flashing and inverting very quickly.
Yeah,
like I was a beat 'em up monochromatic boss with low health.
Yeah, I kicked ass. So I think that in mind, thank God you can finally kill Cranberry. Cranberry died finally. I'm so happy.
Yeah. On the way to the ring, actually, it was like a kidney thing.
Yeah, it's a shame. Too bad. We'll miss him. Not really. Blood Orange moves on. Next up, Blackberry 3 seed versus Clementine 2 seed. I know a lot of people have razzed us for having a seeded tournament that is 100% preference based, but when it's 2 versus 3, I think it's anyone's game. What do you think, Blackberry or Clementine?
I definitely eat more clementines in terms of just pure consumption. Blackberry is a flavor. I'm trying to think the last thing I had with it was probably some seltzer with it. You know how when you pick the seltzer flavor, it like really doesn't matter.
Yeah. I don't know. Okay. Obviously, in terms of like pure quantity of consumption, Clementine's going to be in the top quadrant of almost anybody just because of the sort of grab and go portable nature of the Clementine. They're also very self-contained. Like a Clementine is a fruit treat. Like you just unpeel it. It's very easy to unpeel, more so than a normal orange. And then you eat it real quick.
No container needed.
Yeah, you eat it quick. There, you're done. Blackberry, I will agree that they're more uncommon, but they're much more of, what am I trying to say? A Clementine is so self-contained that it's got no place in like dessert cuisine, in like the realm of the sweets. Whereas Blackberry, you can make a compote out of that. You can put berries on some ice cream. The blackberry on ice cream is really good. You can put blackberries on top of a cake. They have a lot more structure than raspberries. They're sort of closest ally. Their con score is much higher. And I don't know. I like I like the look of them with all the little nubbins coming together.
It comes down to, do you like to snack on a bunch of little sums or a single entity? I think is a key division here.
Yeah, and also just like, which do you prefer more? A kit that is built around one specific gameplay and really excels in that at the expense of everything else, such that like there are some matchups where Clementine will just destroy without even breaking a sweat. But like if Clementine like takes poison, if Clementine gets poisoned, like it has no counter to that, and it will just like have all its HP take down because it hasn't spec'd into any anti-poison tech. Versus a fruit like Blackberry that is not as strong in any one area, but does have that sort of well-rounded kit. Which would you rather have on your party?
Well, at this stage in the tournament, which is pretty far along, I would say Blackberry's higher skill ceiling is more impressive. because I am taking what you're saying, which is that it has a well-rounded kit, but it's not like totally self-contained and like with training wheels, and it's just like there's some flexibility in play versus sort of the paint by numbers approach of Clementine is what I'm hearing. And for that reason, I think I would give it to Blackberry because they can use the space above them for the skill ceiling because they've advanced. They know what's up.
Yeah. I see what you're getting at. Okay. Sounds good. I agree, Joe. I love Clementines, but like, I don't know if I'm gonna have a Clementine or a blood orange, if that's the option that's being given to me. I'm gonna go with the blood orange because it's goth. Like the Clementine is good, obviously. It scratches your itch for a sweet citrus, but there's really not a lot else you can do with it. Blood orange, you can eat it, but also you can be like, damn, this fruit's goth as hell. You can't do that with the Clementine. So I'm giving it to Blackberry as well. Hell yeah. So that's round 3 of Du Bois region. We are very close to determining the Elite 8 of the Fruit Annihilation Tournament. We first, though, have to deal with round 3 of the Rebels. And Joe, these are going to be some really devastating fights because the Rebels region, as we know, these are the rule breakers. These are the specialist Nen users who don't fall into the categories, and they're bringing some wild shit to the arena that no one else is.
Are they doing dirty stuff like sneaking in razor blades under their fingernails?
Oh, for sure. That is guaranteed. It's one of those things where like the tournament rules, even the organizers know they're going to be broken. The rules just exist to force the combatants to do their due diligence and hiding and obfuscating their little cheaty tricks, which honestly is in their self-interest because then the opponent doesn't know what to be looking out for. If they just brought the razor blade out in their bare hand, they'd be like, well, I gotta avoid that hand. Fuck. All right, the first bout. This one's gonna be wild. Joe, this is the number 1 seed, the most controversial combatant in the arena because it's just a guy who doesn't know any martial arts but somehow brought in a gun, coffee, versus the 4 seed of Avocado.
They trying to take the gun away from him backstage, and he shot them.
Yeah, he shot them. They're dead now. Now no one wants to try. Joe, I don't know about this one. Both of these bouts in the Rebels region are going to be tough for me. I'll admit, in Du Bois, I had favorites, and I was trying to steer you toward. This, I don't know. I could go either way. I could be convinced either way with Avocado or coffee.
So Avocado has the fake association of just like needlessly pricey toast, which is the reason for why there's homeless people or whatever they say.
Yeah, but you could also, that same rhetoric gets used with like if you just didn't buy an expensive coffee every day, you could afford a house.
Okay, so the neoliberal lie aspect gets canceled out for both.
Yeah. These is it's like a mirror match. They both pull out that special move, and it's just like a frame clash, and nothing happens.
Okay.
Avocado has a lot more versatility. It's a key food in a lot of cuisines. You'll find it in Mexican food. You'll find it in you see a lot of sushi. I'll have that. Put it in a salad. Really add some fat to the salad. Makes it more savory.
Here's something in Avocado's favor, maybe. Let me know how you think about this. You can't really like fuck up your day by having an avocado at the wrong time.
That's true.
But a poorly timed coffee, especially if you got like medication conflicts, it's a real game of Russian roulette you can do to yourself. Yeah. It's fun.
Counter argument, Joe. Similar sort of genre of point, but flipped. You can't fuck up your day by not having an avocado. I can fuck if I don't drink a cup of coffee in the morning. I feel bad. If I miss my daily avocado, I'm gonna be fine.
We're gonna have an omega-3 issue, but yeah.
No, I'll just take my gummy vitamins. Okay, Joe, have you ever made guacamole in a mortar and pestle? Like actually like crunched it all up yourself?
No, I've only like been to the restaurants where they do it in front of you, which using my powers as an empath, I imagined I was the one doing it.
So it was like, to your experience, which is all that really matters, it was indistinguishable from if you were the one doing it. Got it. Okay.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
then you know how, like, when you take the time and, like, make a guacamole from scratch with the mortar and pestle, you crunch the onions into liquid, you crunch the garlic into liquid, you crunch the fucking jalapenos into liquid, you put the goop in, you put in the fucking cilantro and the goddamn avocado and the lime juice, and you put it all in together, and the salt, and you put maybe a little bit of cumin and paprika in there. The resulting food is one of the, like, ultimate things to eat. Like, I will sometimes in the summer on a weekend go to the grocery store in the morning, get stuff for guacamole, spend like an hour crunching it all up, make a huge fucking mortar and pestle, I forget which, the bowl part, full of guacamole, and I'll just eat that as like my lunch. And it's incredible. And it's very funny because at the end I'm like, I've just eaten 3 avocados and 1 whole onion and 1 whole jalapeno. But like it's just honestly one of the great things to eat is fresh, good guacamole.
Similar behavior with coffee would be diarrhea city. I mean,
well, you can say about like the pour over. People like to do that, where they like really measure it all out and have like the perfect pour.
I think people that like that have never probably worked at a coffee shop. I feel like I have a pour over. It was gifted to me. It is beautiful. I am lazy. Every time I think about it, I'm just... It's no.
Yeah, I have an AeroPress. I use my AeroPress every day. That is easy as shit, and it makes a good cup of coffee. I imagine there may be some coffee guy who like sees my process and is like, excuse me, I can tell you that that's actually not a good cup of coffee, you amateur. I don't care. I love it. Okay, Joe, I just spoke really in favor of avocado. Here's the fact about coffee. Coffee is like a cheap and legal drug with no downsides that only makes you feel better. And I use it every day, and it makes my life like better, like really better.
So I'm here talking about diarrhea all the time with coffee, and you're saying no downsides, which I'm taking to mean that you think it's fun to have it.
I think that something's wrong with your
fun.
guts.
You're like, no, you enjoy the frictionless experience. Just say it.
I will say that every once in a while, coffee induces me to clear out with a little bit of quickness, but I would not say diarrhea.
Yeah.
We're not talking like sounds like I just turned the faucet on in the toilet diarrhea.
No. Is that it? Are you gatekeeping right now?
I'm just saying there's a difference between I go to the bathroom and within seconds I am done, and I have diarrhea, which is like I'm going to be sitting here for a while feeling bad.
Okay, yeah, more the second one.
You have that from coffee?
I can if the medicine it does not play right.
Okay. I didn't see this as me. This is my limited experience is blinding me from the full tapestry of human experience.
But everything you said about the avocado, especially when you're making the little bowl, is correct. So I am inclined to give it to a great source of healthy fats.
Joe, it's looking bad for coffee. Avocado has kicked the gun away. You'd think that, well, obviously it's got no more. We already have established that coffee does not have any martial arts training. So obviously avocado's got this. Now is when coffee is going to pull out its secret weapon. Because a listener to the show, I believe named Lila, sent us long ago when the fruit tournament was new, one of coffee's very few other applications other than the drink. Now you may know, listener, that coffee comes from a cherry, and that's why it's in the fruit tournament. And the coffee bean that you know is the pit of the cherry that has been roasted. Now, did you further know, because I did not, that they take the skins of those cherries They dry them out into hard little husks. And they sell that shit as something called cascara, which is a tea. It's an herbal tea that you can make out of the coffee cherry skins. And I gotta tell you, cascara fucking whips. It's so good.
What was it like again? I forgot.
So I know
so
this
long ago.
Dude, you know how I remember is because I used my half of the bag that Lila got us, and I bought another one just for me, and I drink it like still. It tastes like you have an herbal tea that has sort of a dark red, like a raspberry or like dark plum flavor, like a dark red fruit flavor to it. But also, it sort of has just a kiss of the flavor of coffee. Like, it's nowhere near as stringent or strident as coffee, and it certainly doesn't give you the caffeine response, both the good response and the diarrhea response. It doesn't give you that in the way coffee does, but there is enough of that flavor that you are remembering what's good about coffee while simultaneously having a fruity tea.
What was the buzz level?
Like, very little. It was like having a normal cup of tea, which is not, to me, and I don't know if this is different from you guys, I have a cup of coffee every day. That is my generally caffeine intake. That's where I'm at. I have never gotten a caffeine buzz off of a cup of tea, and I've never intended to, so good. I'm not complaining about that.
You got to freebase it.
Yeah, well, I'm not going to... Okay, yeah, I'm going to crush up the tea and snort it. Yeah, that'll be great for me.
Yeah, you need tinfoil, too.
So, that is... Cascara represents, like, coffee taking its thumbnail and, like, cutting into, like, the skin of its, like, chest and pulling out a little knife that's been surgically implanted between the skin and the muscle. And now it has a knife, so it's back in the game against avocado. Now, Joe, I think I've made my peace. I don't want to be the one. I drove Du Bois pretty strongly. I'll admit that, and I want to cede control to you. Knowing this now, seeing this tableau in the arena, Coffee is bloodied and has their secret knife out. Avocado is shocked at the secret knife, doesn't know what to do. What's the next move? Is Avocado getting killed, or is this being kicked away as well? It's all up to you.
This is like a really good Kengan Ashura page turn, I'm imagining, because you're just like truly, like, what the fuck is going to happen?
Mm-hmm.
I think what happens is Coffee tries to use the knife, and even with the weapon, it just gets out martial artsed. Like, it's a case where like the elbow gets broken as the knife clatters uselessly to the ground.
Holy shit. I can't believe it. Joe, I can honestly say I never thought this would happen. Coffee's eliminated. The number 1 seed. Gone from the Fruit Annihilation Tournament at the hands of Avocado.
Obviously, there's a huge sense of relief in the arena because the freak with the gun is gone now.
Yeah. And now, well, everyone has to consider now that Avocado has slain the giant. And that's going to be a point in its favor going forward. Knowing that it was the one that brought down the unstoppable Coffee. Wow, that's really amazing. I didn't think that would happen. And I didn't think that if it... when I sort of saw you getting there, I was like... I was feeling ready to get mad when Coffee lost, but like... I don't know, man. Avocado's really good. Like...
It is.
Sometimes I just have an avocado, and it's like the last day it's going to be edible, and I don't know what to do with it. You can just slice it into slices and like put salt and a little bit of olive oil on it, and just eat it like that. It's so good.
The olive oil trick is like turning back the clock a little. I love it.
Fuck. Okay. Our next one. This is the final bout we're going to be doing today. It's the final bout in round 3 of the Rebels. Seed number 3, coconut, versus seed number 2, tomato. Now, both of these are absolute heavy hitters that are a cornerstone of multiple cuisines around the world. Yeah. Very few fruits in this tournament you can say that about, and we have 2 of them here.
This is hard. We've cooked with coconut recently because we made curry, tomatoes and everything. Tomato in every type of shape and consistency in cans. Everything gets used.
Yeah. This is really tough because, okay, like consider how good it is. Because I'm about to tell you a meal that like is so fucking easy, and you can do it at any time, and it'll absolutely whip ass. So what you can do is just get like an onion, a small onion, doesn't matter. Cut it into little pieces, yeah. Get some garlic, cut it into little pieces, yeah. You're gonna put that in the pot with fucking oil and get them soft, yeah. Okay, you're with me so far. Now what you're gonna do is you're gonna get a bunch of fucking cherry tomatoes, whatever tomatoes you have on hand. Doesn't matter what kind. Any kind's good. That's one of the things that really opened my eyes as I've aged. Is like, don't be a tomato purist. Like, they're all good. Even the bad ones are good, dude. You're gonna get a bunch of tomatoes. I like to have cherry tomatoes because I can use them in salad or I can use them in this. I got options. You put them in the pot with the onions and shit. Around this time, you start cooking your pasta also. By this time, how much time has passed? Like 5 minutes. You put the top on. About 5 minutes later, you open up the top. You look at the tomatoes. You squish them with a spoon so they all pop and get their liquid out. You put the top back on. 5 more minutes, your pasta's done. You drain it. You take the top off the fucking sauce. Wow, you have the sauce. You put some fucking salt and pepper in that shit. Maybe put a little piece of butter. You put your pasta in the sauce. You stir it up. You have a delicious homemade tomato sauce that took you no time. And like, obviously it would be better to do it legit, but it's just like, that alone, incredible.
I have cooked with cherry tomatoes I have grown myself. I have not. I'm probably not going to ever do the same with coconut.
Yeah.
There's a few barriers there. I'm inclined to go to tomato because it also it enables pizza, Tom.
Yo, that's true. That's true. Yeah, Joe, a lot of fucking freaks try to sell me on white pizza. Just put on some Parmesan and some garlic and some olive oil on the bread. It tastes so good.
It's cum pizza.
I'm sure it does, but it's like...
It looks like shit, dude.
Like, what do you... Even the name, like, white pizza. It's just like, this is white people pizza. Fuck this. Although, Joe, okay, that's brings up something else. Could it be that we are not giving coconut a fair shake because our Western biases are preventing us from seeing the trigrams that it's bringing out in its martial arts kata? Because the cuisines that most heavily feature coconut are the ones that we don't have a lot of cultural heritage with. Our fucking grandmas aren't making curries. Let's be real. Our grandmas are making, at least mine is, making red sauce. I don't know. Your Croatian grandma might be making like a bunch of sausages. So I don't know if that's relevant.
She's mostly gray bones.
Gray bones. So yeah, could it be that like because we, from our ethnic backgrounds, are not likely to be cooking with coconut that much? Could we be overlooking its incredible usefulness? Because like I gotta tell you, I don't make a lot of curries. I make a lot of fucking pasta sauces. I don't make a lot of curries.
We've been cooking with curry a lot lately, and a single can of like coconut milk. How do I put this? I will concede that tomato is as essential as like coconut is to like Southeast Asian cuisines and a lot of curries and stuff like that. And it also is as easy to like use because like it comes in cans. Like it's made to just dropped in there, right?
Yeah.
You're not actually macheting the actual fruit. So I don't know. It's both are as industrially available and easy to drop into a pot.
Yeah. Also, consider this. If you use coconut oil to pop popcorn, that's going to be really good fucking popcorn. That's the best oil you can use to pop popcorn. And I love popcorn. Popcorn.
Is that true?
Yeah, I go nuts for that shit. Kevin Johnson, Guesto mode goer, introduced us to this brand of popcorn that you get at the store called Valley Pop, which comes in a comically huge bag. It's like it looks like a pillow. It looks like you just bought a big body pillow, but it's popcorn. And that shit's popped with coconut oil. And it is possibly one of the most habit-inducing foods I've ever had. When we first saw the bag, we're like, this is a silly size. And now my wife and I are both like, it's so infuriating how they barely put any Valley Pop in these bags. We go through it like nothing.
Doesn't it suck how this will run out eventually?
Yeah. And every once in a while, you will get a kernel that's like exceptionally oily. It has like more oil on it than the average one, and that's what I like to call the treat kernel, because like it's just bursting with flavor. It's so good. You can't do that with tomatoes, but what you can also not do with coconut is a pizza. I think pizza
is really it.
We moved past pizza too fast because I got on white pizza, the tomato free pizza, and then we got distracted with cum. Pizza's also so good.
Yeah, tomato is free of white pizza sin. Like, we brought it up.
It was to say how bad pizza is without tomatoes, and then we didn't like circle back to pizza being good. Pizza's so good. I know that the deep dish Chicago pizza is like the tourist food. It's like novelty. It's like a big fancy milkshake. It's like one of those Bloody Marys that has like a burger on the skewer coming out of it. It's like, this is silly. Like, everyone knows this is silly and is not real. This is like funny food. That's true. However, Lou Malnati's especially, they put like whole ass Marzano tomatoes on top of the fucking pizza in their sauce. There's like big chunks of like tomato. And those bites are astonishingly flavorful. I love them. I love the tomato.
In terms of just pure consumption, I've eaten a lot of tomatoes, man.
Holy shit, Joe. I think I'm seeing something in the arena that I never thought I would. Tomato obviously has its own fighting style, and everyone respects it. You know, everyone knows that tomatoes kata are top class. Everyone knows that it's a contender to win this whole thing. What no one could have expected is seeing one of Avocado's katas being used in the next bout as strongly and as precisely as Avocado, the one who invented it and mastered it, which is, Joe, have you ever gone to the farmer's market and got an heirloom tomato? This is the only thing I ever get at the farmer's market because I'm too scared to buy something else and not know what I'm going to use it for, and it goes bad, and I'm like, that was $10. I threw that in the drain. Holy shit. So I only ever buy heirloom tomatoes. You take that shit home. You cut it into slices. You put the slices on a plate. You sprinkle salt over it. You sprinkle olive oil over it. If you have basil, you shred some basil, put that over. Eat it just like that. You have one of the ultimate taste experiences. Like, very, very little is better than that. Much like how I was explaining, that's an incredible application of avocado. Now, you can't do that with coconut. The best you can get with that is you get shredded sweetened coconut for desserts, and you eat it out of the bag, which now that I say that's actually fucking amazing and as good as the tomato shit I just said.
Salt on tomato slices. I don't usually do the olive oil or the basil just because it's extra stuff, but the simple combo of like just cherry tomatoes that have been cut in half and sprinkled with salt, I'm having a good time.
They're really good.
I do not have the same snacking experience with coconut. And I don't even dislike coconut as a dessert option. I know there's like, it's like a go-to, coconut is a flavor, but it's
coconut
fine.
rules.
Yeah,
I love almond joy. Dude, this is tough. I mean, I here's where I'm at. I think I'm just giving it to tomato because like I've seen its moves more often, and I know that's like, I know that's because of my biases, but I can't stop having my biases. They're part of me. It's how it is.
Yeah, those biases also made me consume just a shit ton of tomatoes from like birth until now.
Tomatoes are so tasty. You know what I was talking about with that quick pasta sauce? You know what you can do even faster? Is do the exact same thing, except instead of using cherry tomatoes and like waiting till they get soft enough to pop, you can like start the process like even later. Like the pasta can be half done and you start. And you just get your onions and garlic soft, and then you just glob some tomato paste in there. And you just sort of like stir it all up, and then the tomato paste gets a little bit cooked. It doesn't taste like raw. It gets a little bit of cook to it. And then you just sort of stir your pasta into that, and it's like instead of having it be like a watery sauce, watery sounds bad, a liquid, like a liquid, it's just like this paste that you sort of like when it stirs, it's like getting painted onto the pasta. That shit's incredible. And you know how much a can of tomato paste costs? Like 50 cents. And there you have it. You have a delightful pasta sauce. That is incredible stuff, in my opinion. I'm giving it to tomato.
I second that.
And that's that. Folks, round 3 of the Fruit Annihilation Tournament is over. We are now with the Elite 8, the 8 best fruits in the tournament, which are, from the classic killers, apple and lemon. From the big fruits, pineapple and mango. Now that's going to be a fucking high card bout to watch. From Du Bois, blackberry and blood orange. And from the rebels, avocado and tomato. That is the Elite 8 of the Fruit Annihilation Tournament. Wow. The next time we run through these, we're going to have derived the final 4, Joe. This rules.
When this ends, are we going to have to come up with like another pointless project that we wear like an albatross?
No, this is going to be the last one we do. We'll leave the bracket podcast to Riley Hopkins. They're better at it than us anyway. Anyway, thank you for listening to the Anime Sickos podcast. I've been Tom, an Anime Sicko.
I've been Joe, an Anime Sicko.
We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to Anime Sickos. I've been Tom, a sicko. You can follow me on Twitter at TomHarrison19. Joe is also a sicko. You can follow him on Twitter at Sharia Uncle. You can follow Anime Sickos on Twitter at Anime Sickos, or email us at animesickos@gmail.com. Please leave us a review or something. I don't know. Tell a friend. Anyway, until next time, bye.